The sun dipped low over the endless plains of West Texas, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple. Dust swirled around the weathered boots of Jake Harlan as he stood on the porch of his rundown ranch house. His cowboy hat tipped back slightly on his forehead. The air was thick with the scent of dry earth and mesquite. Beside him, his wife, Elena, wrapped a frayed woolen shawl tighter around her shoulders, her dark hair catching the fading light. Her face, marked with a faint scar along her cheek from a childhood accident, held a quiet determination that had kept them going through the toughest years. Jake had inherited the Double Bar Ranch from his father, a sprawling 500 acres of scrubland and cattle grazing fields near the small town of Marfa. But the last decade had been brutal. Drought sucked the life out of the soil, banks foreclosed on neighbors left and right, and corporate agribusiness giants snapped up land for pennies. Jake's herd had dwindled from 200 head to barely 50, and the mortgage payments loomed like storm clouds. Elena, who had grown up in the city of El Paso before marrying Jake and trading skyscrapers for wide-open skies, had become the backbone of their operation. She handled the books, mended fences, and even branded calves when Jake's back gave out from years of hard labor. That evening, as they stared out at the horizon, a plume of dust rose from the dirt road leading to their gate. A black SUV, sleek and out of place among the pickup trucks of the region, rumbled toward them. Jake's hand instinctively went to the revolver holstered at his hip, a habit from his days riding the border patrols in his youth. Elena placed a calming hand on his arm. "Easy, love. Let's see what they want." The vehicle pulled up, and out stepped a man in a crisp suit, his polished shoes kicking up dust. He was flanked by two burly security types in sunglasses. "Mr. Harlan?" "Name's Victor Lang, from Apex Land Development out of Dallas. We've got an offer for your property." Jake spat on the ground. "Ain't interested. This land's been in my family since the 1800s. Fought Comanches, Mexicans, and the damn weather for it." Lang smiled thinly, unfazed. "Times change, Mr. Harlan. We're offering $2 million cash. That's more than fair market. Think about it. No more scraping by, no more debts. You could retire to the city, live easy." Elena's eyes narrowed. She knew the numbers. The ranch was worth maybe half that on a good day. But with the water rights tied to an underground aquifer that Apex coveted for their fracking operations, it was a steal for them. "And if we say no?" she asked. Lang's smile faded. "Then things get complicated. Permits get delayed, inspections fail. We've got friends in Austin." As the SUV drove off, leaving a trail of exhaust, Jake slammed his fist against the porch railing. "Bastards, they think they can bully us out." That night, under a blanket of stars brighter than any city lights Elena had ever known, they sat at the kitchen table poring over maps and ledgers. The house was a modest log cabin, built by Jake's grandfather with his own hands. Faded photos on the wall showed generations of Harlans, cowboys on horseback, women in sunbonnets, children chasing chickens. Elena traced her finger over a yellowed deed. "We have options, Jake. The aquifer, it's ours by riparian rights. We could fight in court." Jake shook his head. "Courts take years, money we don't have, and those Apex goons. I've heard stories. Ranchers up in Midland who refused ended up with poison wells or accidental fires." The next morning, trouble brewed faster than a summer thunderstorm. Jake rode out on his horse, Rusty, to check the fences along the eastern boundary. He found a section cut clean, cattle wandering toward the highway. Tracks from heavy machinery led to a neighboring property recently sold to Apex. Sabotage. When he confronted the foreman there, a heated exchange turned physical. Jake came home with a split lip and fire in his eyes. Elena bandaged him up, her touch gentle but firm. "This isn't the Wild West anymore, Jake. We need help." She reached out to old friends. Maria, her college roommate, now a lawyer in San Antonio, specialized in land disputes. Over a crackling phone line, Maria warned them, "Apex is ruthless. They've got lobbyists, private investigators, but if you can prove harassment or environmental violations, we might have a shot." Days turned into a tense standoff. Apex sent surveyors who trespassed at dawn, marking stakes with bright orange flags. Jake chased them off with a shotgun, yelling curses that echoed across the plains. Locals in Marfa whispered in the diner. The Harlans were holding out, a last stand against the corporates swallowing the heart of Texas. One afternoon, Elena discovered something buried in the attic, an old journal from Jake's great-grandfather. It detailed a hidden spring on the property, a natural artesian well that could sustain the ranch indefinitely if tapped properly. "This changes everything," she said, excitement lighting her face. "We develop it ourselves. Sell water rights to small farmers, go sustainable. No need for Apex's blood money." Jake was skeptical. Drilling cost a fortune. But Elena's plan ignited a spark. They scraped together savings, took a loan from a local credit union run by folks who hated Big Corp as much as they did, hired a geologist from Lubbock who confirmed the spring's potential. Apex escalated. Anonymous threats came via phone. Sell or regret it. Then one night, flames licked the sky as the barn went up in arson. Jake and Elena fought the fire with buckets and hoses, saving most of the hay but losing tools and a tractor. The sheriff, a tired man named Ruiz with a badge polished from years of small-town justice, investigated but found no leads. "Off the record," he told Jake, "watch your back. These suits played dirty." The breaking point came during a fierce dust storm that howled like banshees across the ranch. Elena was alone, checking on the pregnant cows in the corral, when two masked men in an Apex truck rammed the gate. They grabbed her, intending to scare her into signing over the deed. But Elena fought like a wildcat, kneeing one in the groin and screaming, until Jake, hearing the commotion from the house, came running with his revolver, blazing warning shots into the air. The men fled, but not before one grazed Jake's arm with a bullet. Bleeding but alive, they called the authorities. This time, evidence stuck. Tire tracks, a dropped Apex ID badge. Lawsuits flew. Maria pounced, filing injunctions and countersuits for attempted kidnapping and property damage. Word spread like wildfire through West Texas. Ranchers rallied, forming a coalition against Apex. Protests in Austin, op-eds in the Dallas Morning News. The hidden spring became a symbol of resistance. Investors, seeing the PR nightmare, pulled funding from Apex's fracking plans. In the end, Apex backed down. They offered a settlement, $3 million to walk away, plus a promise to leave the aquifer untouched. But Jake and Elena refused the buyout. Instead, they used the legal wins to secure grants for green energy, wind turbines dotting the horizon, solar panels on the barn roof. The spring flowed, irrigating new pastures of drought-resistant grasses. Cattle numbers climbed. Elena started a co-op, selling organic beef to Austin hipsters who paid premium for real Texas rancher stories. Years later, on that same porch, Jake and Elena watched their grandchildren chase fireflies as the sun set. The ranch thrived, a beacon in a changing landscape. Jake tipped his hat to the horizon. "We held the line, darling." Elena smiled, her scar a badge of honor. "Together. This land's ours. Forever." The plains stretched endless, whispering secrets of resilience to those who listened. In the heart of America, the Harlans proved that some things couldn't be bought: grit, love, and the unyielding spirit of the West.